So I just got done installing this beast. It's a Mr. Cool 36,000 BTU or 3-ton duct hyper heat unit. Now this is the newest unit that they offer, and it's built on the success of their universal unit. Now this is a heat pump system. It is DIY friendly, and you should be able to do that all on your own and save a ton of money. So since I just finished up, I want to share some lessons learned with you. I want to show you how much did I actually spend on this project, how long did this project actually take me, and how many trips to the home improvement store did that actually equal, which, as you know, for DIYers, that can be a little painful going back and forth, and I had no shortage of trips on this one. And then to help you relate your project to my project, what I had is an old oil burning furnace here. And I actually did a video on that trying to troubleshoot. I couldn't get it started, the oil burner. So this one had ducts in. It has a cold air return that I was able to leverage and then do some custom ductwork to connect it in. And then also I had the ductwork going out to all my vents or my registers throughout the house. So just know I wasn't installing all the ductwork fresh, which would dramatically increase the pricing whether you're hiring out a pro, or also increase your material costs as a DIYer and also your installation time. And then I did get a 3-ton all-electric unit priced out. It was not a Mr. Cool unit, but it was comparable, and I did get quoted at $12,500 for that installation. Now let's compare that to what I actually spent and how much time I put into installing this DIY setup. So I have my laptop right here, which I'll be referencing a spreadsheet, which I'll show right here, and it breaks it down into different sections. So just starting off with the air handler, this inside unit, and the condenser, the outside unit, getting those set into place. Now just let you know, this is probably a 2-person operation and you probably need a dolly, but you're not gonna spend a ton of time, just take you a couple hours to get those in place. I spent 2 hours, and here's where most of the cost. Mr. Cool was nice enough to send this 3-ton hyper heat unit to me for free, but this is a $3,500 unit. So just know that is the majority of your cost for this project. Now the concrete pad for the outside condenser, that is gonna take a little time. It took me about 8 hours to dig that out, level out the ground, form it up, and then pour my 24-inch by 48-inch pad that was 5 inches thick. It doesn't cost a ton of materials. That was only $140, but it is definitely a time commitment. And then for the stand, the Mr. Cool unit returns the air and it goes up and through, so I needed a stand that also served as a plenum. I found a 21-inch stand made by Flowrite on Amazon, and that only took about an hour to put together or less. It was super convenient, and it cost about $145. Now for your reference, that Flowrite stand and then all the other tools and materials that I used for this project is linked in the description below over on our Amazon store in a specific list just for this project where you can reference all the different tools and supplies that we used. Then going on to the longest task, and that was getting all the ductwork tied together. So this was custom fabrication, a lot of cutting of flat sheet metal, bending, and a lot of self-tapping sheet metal screws. This took me 12 hours to get completed. Oh yeah, in addition, don't forget we have the trips to the store. This was 3 trips to the store. The concrete pad was 2 trips to the store, but the cost was only $325. So this is a low material cost, but a high labor. So that's also when you hire this out. If you have a lot of duct work, that's where a lot of money is gonna go. Now going on to wiring. Wiring is something I'm fairly comfortable with. It took me about 10 hours to install 2 different 240 volt circuits. One was a 50 amp with a disconnect for the outside condenser, and one was a 15 amp to run the inside air handler unit. That only cost about $450 in materials, and it was another 3 trips to the home improvement store. Now plumbing was pretty straightforward. We just need to drain the evaporator coils here. That took me 3 hours. It's only 3/4 inch PVC. Our draining is gonna be unique on each project. I needed to go over to a sump pit right over there, but that was only about $80 in supplies. Then the lines themselves, running these no vac lines. This is what makes this a DIY project. These already have the refrigerant in them, and if you install them correctly, you do not need to pull a vacuum and pull refrigerant in. So this is why this can be a DIY setup. Overall, the cost very low, $15. One trip to the home improvement stores took me about 2 hours to run these. Depending on if you're going through brick or masonry like I was, that takes a little bit longer compared to going through like vinyl siding and wood sheathing on your home. But just know at the bottom of this, I'm also going to give you a quote unquote tool allowance. This is a perfect example. For instance, if you need to go through that masonry, you have to pick up some different drill bits or hole saws to get through that masonry. That can add up pretty fast. So I do give you a tool allowance at the end, understanding that most of us are not going to have all these tools, or maybe you're going to have to rent some. Thermostat installation is fairly straightforward. I used the default one that came with the Mr. Cool. So that was only 2 hours to install that. One trip to the home improvement store for thermostat wire, and it only cost me about $25. Then we're finished it up with the tool allowance. 2 more trips. I did go get tools several times just because I didn't have them, and that was $375 for the tool allowance. If we roll all that up, what does that mean? It took me 40 working hours to complete this project, 13 trips to the home improvement store, and a total cost of $5,055. So right at a $5,000 mark compared to $12,500. So that's where I saved over $7,000, right at about $7,500, which if we took that into account, right, how much you saved compared to 40 hours of work, you're making $186 per hour. So this type of DIY project, if you're comfortable taking it on, can be a great use of your time. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you want a lot more instruction on how to install one of these, everything that goes into that project, I did document that complete installation. You can check out that video right here. And then once I go into the winter months, I am going to actually monitor the energy consumption on this unit and see, does it actually produce heat when we get below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and how much energy does that consume? So you can also check out this video right here where we'll go over the results of that testing and really test out this Hyper Heat unit in the cold. So thanks for joining me on this video, and we'll catch you on one of those next ones. Take care.